Okay, realtors, when it comes to generating enough business so that you can generate the income you want every year, your strategy matters. And it matters now more than ever. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about is strategy, which really, in the context of a real estate agent's life, is from what sources are you generating business? Do you even know what those sources are? And do you have a good plan for allocating your focus and your energy to ensure that you have a consistent flow of business? So, what I've found over the years of coaching real estate agents is that people will try things. You're doing this and you're doing that. And you're kind of all over the place. And maybe this is you. Maybe you can relate. Maybe it's not. Hopefully, you've got a very clearly defined strategic plan for how you're going to generate enough business for yourself. But most people don't. And so, in this video, I want to share with you the four main lead sources or the four main categorical lead pillars where you're going to generate your business. I'm going to talk to you about how you're going to take the conversations and opportunities that you have and turn them from a lead or a suspect to a prospect to a customer and then to a repeat and referral source so that your business becomes all repeat and referral source driven. And then we're going to talk about how you can make sure that that stays as a continuous flow as your business continues to grow. So with that being said, let's get right into the four main lead pillar sources of business for every real estate agent. All right, number one, and by the way, you maybe have heard these things before, but number one is your sphere of influence, right? The people that you already know. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate category one, sphere of influence, into two subcategories. The first being the people you know, and the second being the people you don't yet know, which is pretty much everybody else. So the people you know, let's start there. And the truth is that as a new to business real estate agent, your sphere of influence is not going to immediately start giving you business. Why? They might know you and like you, and they might trust you like with their kids, right? With their house, but they're not trusting you to list their home for them yet because you've never done it before, right? And so, very reasonably speaking, you should not expect a um, someone you know and love and trust to give you their listing right away. Now, possibly if you have a mentor and you're with a great office and you can demonstrate that you can deliver for them, they might, but it's not a reasonable expectation. So, here's what you got to do to activate your SOI known. That is uh, function or strategy 1A is first thing you got to do is segment your entire database. So your most important asset in your business is your database, all the people that you've been collecting throughout your life. And as you start to organize that database and segment that database and energize and activate that database with marketing and recording all of your conversations and scheduling your follow-ups, right? You really have a organized system for customer relationship management or CRM. Um, you're going to start to have more success. So SOIA is first, build your database. Second is segment your database, and you're going to segment it into your A, B, C, and D groups. So your A group is your ambassadors. That's your inner circle. Those are the people that you can rely upon for at least one referral per year. That would be the measurable way to look at ambassadors. And in the beginning, it's going to be a small group, right? Like your mom, your dad, your sister, your best friend. And the idea is to start to bring the rings, right? So a sphere is a circle. You're going to have four circles, A, B, C, and D. A is your inner circle, and the goal would be to bring your next ring, B, which are really acquaintances. I should really come up with a word that starts with B, but we'll call it acquaintances for now. You're going to want to bring people from your acquaintances into your inner circle, which means you got to love on these people more. You got to demonstrate more connection and reliability and just as a desire to serve them at a higher level. And that's what will happen. That inner circle starts to grow. The people you can rely upon every year for at least one referral will start to grow. So if you didn't pick it up, your B ring or your acquaintances, not your inner circle, but acquaintances. And then your C ring is your community. And community can be a whole bunch of different things, right? So I went to the Pennsylvania State University, class of 1994. Yes, all of this gray hair means I'm 54 years old. And that's a community for me. No, I don't talk to the people that I graduated college, you know, however many years ago that was. I don't know the math right now, but it was quite a while. Um, I don't talk to them all the time, but I'm in community with them on social media, and I see them when I go for alumni weekend, that kind of stuff. That's community. Okay. And then your D ring, we're going to call that the delete group. And the delete group are the people who just aren't interested in being in connection with you. They don't want to help you. And that's fine too. We don't have to have any drama about it. D also stands for drama. So we don't want to do drama. Just delete that. Just say, okay, no problem. I've got my inner circle. I can rely upon them for one referral per year. I've got my acquaintances. I've got my community. The goal is that I want to continue to expand my inner circle. But at the same time, we also are in the people collecting business, which means that once we activate everybody in the sphere that we have, our sphere known or 1A, we then have to activate sphere unknown or sphere B, which is I've got to start collecting more people. And the way we do that is through networking and community involvement. That's simply two sides of the same coin. Networking is business people coming together with the intention of helping each other build their business, right? You go to a networking event. Hey, I'm me, you're you, let's do this. Okay. And you create a system around staying in touch and helping each other, referring each other, supporting each other. Community involvement is you getting involved with things that matter to you. And you don't go into it with the initial intention of, oh, here's my card, give me business, that kind of a thing. Instead, it would be things that are actually near and dear to your heart, something that you would want to be connected to or involved with. When I was a young dad, I coached sports for my kids, and I loved it. Not only did I love being on, for example, the softball field with my then 9-year-old daughter, um, I live here in South Florida, so we have beautiful evenings, right? So it's just a great way to connect with my own daughter, beautiful way to be outdoors. But in the meantime, I'm coaching the kids and I'm making authentic and genuine connections with other parents and families in my community that were real because I wanted to be there without the pressure of, here's my card, let's do business. And of course, what happened was they got to know me, they got to like me, they got to trust me, and then because they became aware that I was a real estate professional, right? Sending emails about team updates through my professional email, connecting on social media. And of course, I share on social media what I'm up to. They started coming to me, asking me questions, inquiring about what I knew. And of course, then I started doing transactions with people in that community. So maybe it's a religious organization, maybe it's a charitable organization, maybe you love road biking and you're hanging with the people that like to road bike and you're getting to know them. Maybe you like pottery and you're going for pottery and you're starting meeting people that way. It's really important to be active both in networking and community involvement so that you can build your SOI unknown so that they can become known, and then you put them into your activation system. Okay, so what's an SOI activation system? Once you've built the database, once you've segmented the database, you got to call everybody and you've got to have a proper conversation for them to activate them. Now, what I've trained my real estate agents on is a proper, very non-threatening, very connected approach towards generating real estate sales referrals. See, here's the thing: your database does not represent direct customer opportunities only. That would be a limited view or a limited perspective on how to generate business from the people that you know. Buyers and sellers tend to buy, at least these days, once every 10 years. And so it used to be once every 7. People are not moving around as much. So once every 10 years. And so if you have 100 people in your database, that means a maximum of 10 deals per year if everyone uses you. The math just doesn't math right. Instead, what you have to do is look at everyone in your database as a prospective referral source. And let's just do some math. Let's say, again, you have 100 people in your database, but let's say every one of those 100 people also knows 100 people. The math on that is you go from 100 potential prospects or customers to 10,000, right? 100 times 100. Now you got 10,000 possible customers you could work with, presuming you've approached each of your 100 properly, right? And in another video, I'll teach you the proper scripting on that. I'll tell you what's not the right script. Call them up. I'm a realtor now. Think of me. That is not the right approach in any way. All right, I'll give it to you. The right approach for contacting your sphere of influence is, of course, uh, genuine connection, real relating, whether it's been a while since you've talked to them. I think I'll shoot another video on how to engage a conversation with your sphere. But the long and the short is you transition your conversation after rapport building to asking a question or giving them an update to say, I'm excited about being in real estate, or I've joined a new company and I'm really growing my business. I'm excited about it. And my business is by word of mouth and referral. And I'm just curious if you, Mr. Consumer, Miss Person in my database, already has a relationship with a go-to agent that you would refer business to. Some people will say yes. Most people will say no. Now, if they're trying to smoke screen you or brush you off, they'll say yes, and that's fine because it's okay if that's what they have. Because here's the thing, if you haven't earned the right to be that person yet, you haven't earned the right to be that person yet. And you should not expect it. There's no entitlement. And so, do you have a relationship with a go-to? If they say yes, fine, no problem. How about I be a backup? Right? Maybe something changes, but most likely they'll say no, or in many cases they'll say no, in which case you say, cool. Well, I'm committed to delivering exceptional experiences. I will demonstrate to you that I will earn the right to be that person for you. Are you open to me being that person for you? Should you come across someone who is thinking of buying, selling, or renting real estate? Most people will say yes. And then from there, you're going to have a follow up plan or an activation plan to ensure that that consumer never forgets that you had that conversation with them and they gave you permission to do exactly that. Stay in touch with them, stay top of mind aware. So you'd say, cool, here's the plan. I'm going to stay in touch. I do email newsletter. I post on social media. I share content on YouTube, whatever it is you're doing to market yourself. And I'm going to make sure you, consumer, referral source, are present and aware to what I'm doing because I want to stay top of mind with you. Would that be okay? Is that all right? Of course, they're going to say yes. If they say no, guess what group they go into? D, delete group. That's cool. Otherwise, now you're activating that person. And then you have a follow up plan. Get off the phone, handwritten thank you card, set them up on your email marketing in your database. Make sure you're friended on social media, be sharing what you're doing on social media. And now you have a possibility of generating referrals from your sphere known, but because you're out networking and involved in community, adding them into your database with this activation plan, you can start generating from business from them too. Okay, that's sphere. And that's going to be number one. In my experience, most successful agents who've been in the business for a period of time, their number one source of business is their sphere of influence, which includes referral sources, past customers, etc. And that's how it's going to go for you too, as long as you stay in it long enough and you have a good activation plan that you never stop. All right. Second source of business, there are three parts to the second source, is geographic. So geographic one is open houses, one of my most favorite ways to generate business in real estate. Yes, they work. Yes, they work. By the way, everything I'm going to share with you here today works. Everything works. Nothing doesn't unless you don't. So geographic one is open houses. And open houses are great because you have a storefront where you can engage people who are actually looking for a house, potentially, or a seller in the neighborhood is a nosy neighbor who wants to come by and see what's going on. And because you're rocking that open house with, 30, 40 signs, you've got a barbecue going in the front, you got streamers and balloons and flags and a freaking marching band. I'm just kidding about the marching band. But, you've got this great event going. It's your fastest path towards generating certainly a buyer open house. Buyer paycheck is open house, but you're also in the market, in the field, which is great for social media marketing, video creation, etc. So I love open houses. The second, or geographic B, so that was geographic A or one. I might mix A or one, numbers and letters sometimes. Geographic one, open house. Geographic two is direct outbound prospecting to a target that owns a house. Okay, so what am I talking about? There's a bunch of them. You've got certainly for sale by owners. And by the way, I may not tell you something you haven't heard, but I'm organizing it in a way that I think is really useful. And I've been training agents on this for a very, very long time. So I know that uh, this framework works. Geographic two is direct outbound prospecting. So expired, for sale by owner, absentee, which I love right now. Um, Circle dialing, of course, works. You got to be in it for the longer game. Some of these are shorter, some of these are longer. Um, Death, divorce, notice of default. I mean, there's a lot of people you can call. And I love this strategy because it serves all functions. Number one, if you really want to succeed in real estate, you have to have relationships with the people that own the houses. If you have relationships with people that want to buy the houses, it's going to be harder to make a sustainable living over time because they change their mind. Now, home sellers change their mind, but they still own the house, which means they can come back around and list that house with you if you've done a good job. Maybe the timing was off. So, this approach is building relationships, getting to know people who own houses. Even better if you do it in in a strategic geographic way where you combine what would be geographic three or C of a geographic farm. You pick an area. This is the area you want to be known in. If you do your open houses, your direct outbound prospecting, and your farming in a specific geographic area, man, you will dominate. You will become known and recognized in that local market. Real estate is a very hyper local business, and you will become known in that market. Geographic farming is a super important part of generating real estate sales business over the long term because once you become known and if you keep feeding it, home sellers always say, well, I'll give it to so and so because they're the one who does all the deals in here. They're the expert here in the neighborhood. It's not always true, but in your case, it will be because you'll be better and you'll execute a better strategy. So that's geographic. Open houses, great way to generate now business and later business. Direct outbound prospecting, conversations with prospectively motivated targets who own houses in the area you want to work, and a geographic farm where you are slowly but surely over time making the investments and becoming known in an area you choose. Now, there's a whole conversation I could give you around how to be an effective geographic farmer. Not all things work the same, so we're not going to go to get into that today. I'll give you another video on that. Number three is referral partners. So it's very hard to be the only source of business, right? It's a lot of pressure on you as a realtor to be the only source of generating those inbound leads. And so what you've got to do if you want to build a bigger business than you can actually do in the 24 hours available to you is you got to have people who refer you, right? Who think of you, and not just past customers, but I'm talking about other professionals who are out in the world talking to consumers, talking to human beings, talking to people that own or want to buy homes. And so I'm talking about attorneys, which are my favorite source, by the way, because attorneys are involved in so many aspects of people's lives where real estate is involved. One of our top agents, that's her number one source. She's part of a lawyers network. She's on regular lawyer network meetings, and she gets business sent to her very consistently. Now, she's made the investment, she's built the relationships, but that is an incredible source. So, attorneys, accountants, also great source. Financial advisors, great source. Of course, lenders, title offices, and uh, inspectors, insurance agents, and of course, other realtors. I'm here in South Florida. Perhaps in your market, there's an inflow and outflow of people from other markets. We've got a lot of people coming here from all over the world. We also have people who leave here. It's becoming less transitory over the 20 years that I've been here, but South Florida is not very provincial. People don't come and stay forever. Some do. People raise their families here. I love it here. I'm never going anywhere. But people come and go. And so having relationships with realtors from other markets, our company, we happen to be part of Global Brand Center 21, but there's other major brands out there with global presence or a lot of agents. And of course, I know agents like to refer within brand families, although we get referrals from other brands all the time. And that's a great source of business because once you get a call from someone that said, my attorney said I should talk to you, my accountant said I should talk to you, my realtor friend who I trust in New York or Chicago or LA or Indiana or wherever says, I should trust you. Boom, you got another transaction, low tension, high trust because you've been referred by someone they trust. And now you've got another source of business. So number three is referral partners. And then finally, number four is all things marketing, both unpaid and paid marketing. So what is the difference? Unpaid marketing is social media, right? Where you're not buying ads or boosting or that kind of stuff, just brand building, right? Putting yourself out there in a way so that people can get to know you and like you and trust you in a very authentic and genuine way. I often teach agents the best way to share yourself on social media is by documenting rather than creating. Right? Tell people what you're doing, show them what you're doing, let them in on, kind of a voyeur into your life. And that's how you're going to actually demonstrate credibility versus, what I advise agents against, some of these, paid for you services where you don't really get to know you. It's just images and whatever. And I don't particularly like that. But um, so unpaid would be social media. Email marketing is maybe not fully unpaid, but it's very inexpensive. And here's what I love about email marketing is that once you have someone's email address, you're in their email box, and unless they spam you out, you can keep emailing them. I've had the same personal email address for a very long time, and so once you get my email address, you could just keep sending it to me, and it's a very low cost, almost an unpaid way to do it. Um, of course, I'm posting this content here on YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. This is costing me nothing other than my trusted videographer here helping me, my editor, to make sure that my voice and face look right. But otherwise, I can post as much content to YouTube as I want for free, for free. And so that would be unpaid as an example. And then you've got paid, right? Geographic farm marketing is paid, buying ads is paid, putting up billboards is paid, running ads in magazines is paid. So you get the idea. And these things work. Now, what I want you to think about, and I'm about to end the video here so that we can jump off, is what I want you to think about is the relationship between how much time it's going to take you to do these things, because your time is a valuable resource, how much money it's going to take for you to do these things, your money's a valuable resource, and how quickly you want to convert transactions, because some things are just happen faster than others, right? Geographic farm marketing, that's the long plan. Putting the billboard up, that's the long plan. And it's going to take a lot of money, a lot of time, and it's not going to convert very fast. But if you stay with it long enough, it will convert. It's tried and true. And if your marketing sucks, it might not. But if you're good and you're intentional and you've got good imaging and good marketing, it'll work. It has. I mean, again, I have a lot of agents here in our organization. I've been coaching thousands of agents over the years. It works. Okay. Or if you want more now business, faster business that converts faster, you got to do the activities that convert faster, open houses, direct outbound prospecting. I can call a for sale by owner and expired right now, be at their house in 30 minutes and list that house today if I wanted to. I could run an open house this afternoon. I'm shooting this content on a Wednesday afternoon. It's summertime. I could be jetting out of here. It's almost 5 p.m. and I could run an open house tonight, find the buyer of my dreams, go show them a house tomorrow, put them under contract. They're paying cash. They close in 30 days, right? That is very possible as an option. So as you're thinking about these strategies, your sphere, your geographic, your referral partners, and all things marketing based, I want you to think about the use of your time, your money, your energy, and your attention, and how quickly you want the transactions to convert. Okay, I've given you a lot. If you want to go back and watch this video a second time, I think that's a good idea. I've been training this structure, this framework, strategic framework for lead generation to agents for a very long time. So I hope that I've organized this content for you in a meaningful way. If you want to reach out to me or leave a comment, obviously feel free to do so. And I appreciate you watching. Until next time.